Welcome to Open Minds, Open Mic, the place to be on a Friday night. We have a very special delight for you, Cora Gray. I'm so excited for this feature. I see so many amazing poets in the room. Yeah, it's gonna be an awesome show. Before we get started though, one of our family members, one of our good friends, and an amazing poet, the host of the Monday Night Chaos Magic, Gustav Salas, had a stroke a few days ago and is currently in hospital. So, yeah, if you guys just want to unmute and send him some love and say a little piece, that would be great.
Thinking of you, Magus. Hope you feel better soon.
Mr. Bear wants everyone to feel good and happy like Mr. Bear, okay?
Fucking
You were
love
one
you,
of
man.
the
I
you
fucking
were one of
love
the
you,
reasons
man.
I got into this, man.
Stay well
Love you,
and
man, and
blessed.
I hope
We
you're
hope
well.
to see you soon.
You still got to drop a book, bro. So you better not fucking go anywhere.
Because what you're
GG
here,
with the
sending you
fucking
so much
truth.
love.
You are an entire vibe, Magus. Stay strong. We'll be strong for you.
Vegas, we love you. We're gonna record everything that we read just for you and send it your way. Pull through.
Magus, much love to you. I wish you a speedy recovery. I'm sending you healing, divine white light. May you recover well and know that you're loved.
Excellent. All right, yeah, get well, Magus. You're in our thoughts, prayers, and hopes. We're sending so much love and positivity to you. You're strong. I know you got this. So, yeah. All right. With that said, I think I'm gonna start the show off with a poem that I wrote about nature, because our feature tonight is also a fellow nature lover. I wrote this a while back. I like it. It's short, it's sweet. It's called Nature in Bloom. Pondering on the nurturing nature of my home, wandering around searching for danger I'll never know, surrounded by bones of lost creatures serving the unknown. Rounded stone, exhausted dreamers, they'll forever roam. Silence is the guidance of science. Defiance never grows. Compliance with license from Titan's clever throne. Thrown my life to the whims of those whom chose. Grown while I strive towards the unknown. Alone with my wife. This life has had its own plan. A man, maybe more, but no less. No stress, I need you to know this. Bliss is within reach. I try to spread love and light and reach out beyond all doubt, widespread. My plight is to speak loud enough for at least one soul to hear these words. Listen to the wisdom, it comes from the birds, and every chirp, every morning song. We shall survive, strong, long after we're gone. Our souls and laughter will live on. Oh. All right. So coming up first on the open mic list, we have Lantern Carrier. Lantern, if you could bless us with some words, I would greatly appreciate it, brother.
I'm here. Thank you so much. Just what's your name, Thomas? Right, I've just sent this to you. Done. Right, now I bring up my poem. Okay. You're a quintessential beauty. Love's ecstasy dancing in the breeze, and I am in awe of the glitter of your charisma. I am enamored by the ebony of your sweetness, the effortless way you use eloquent bars, the cool breeze, magical white clouds blanketing the grove. Your laughter embraces me like the radiant sun. I surrender to your sweet simplicity, the innocence of cheeks that glow like moonlight, the warmth that radiates in an authentic smile. These are matched by the immaculate luster in your peerless brown eyes, melting the affection-flooded heart of mine, bemusing my soul in trance. Joy tosses me into a realm of bewitching memories that I just wish to savor for eternity. My Habibi, you tell stories not like one verse with the intricacies of Homer's Iliad, nor the fascinating enthrallment of Grimm's fairy tales. You're more like a griot, steeped in the opulence of Africa, a rich, sweet-scented lavender gleaming with elegance that spans centuries of ancestry. Sometimes I'm stunned into elation by your mellifluous words. My breath becomes a symphony that thrills the soul, embracing the heart with solace. Tears drizzle down my cheeks, each drop telling its own story of the childlike playfulness you exude. I'm so filled with blessings, gazing at you, my pearl, my emerald delight. Do they see you? You like the magnificence of celestial entities way beyond this petty life of mine. Yet I beg of you, accept this tiny token of a smile from me, for I have laced it fully with the sacrifice of a priceless love. Like twilight to the heavens, bright moons are always accompanied by stars. They make the perennial nebulae so exquisitely beautiful. Gone are the days when remorse and insecurity would cut into my mind like daggers. Today, the splendor of flowers pale into insignificance when compared to the grandeur of your resplendent beauty. I just love the way my heart sings in the presence of your majesty. Me, inebriated with the wine of drunken lovers. Yet I can still hear the stillness of its beats entreating, more, more. Oh, love, what do you need of me? I can use lifetimes to count the cascading flowers, if so be your wish. I am your lute, striving to blend with the melodious chords that pilot my fingers day and night. May you merge with 1,000 beacons, lighting the way in my darkness, relieving me of fears and regrets forever. One gaze at you, and the glint of your eyes kisses my soul, only it's even more captivating, like sunset hues. Twilight dances while Orion sings, and the heavens tell stories of more promising tomorrows. Come, be the wings on my shoulders like Icarus. Perhaps we can find a golden path to the temple of the sun. Just one cup of your luster, and my heart dissolves in wings of light, lost in the letting go of mundane distractions. Oh, Queen, can I touch the soft, tender, precious ebony skin that gleams like velvet? Can I create a brocade of the finest silk to adorn your cute feet? My specially tailored gele is on its way to enhance the glory of your crown, to augment this matchless miracle that enthralls or captivates my soul. Can I taste your sweet potatoes, pineapples, mangoes, and papaya juices? My stomach is calling for your salsa. Is the ever delectable jollof rice available? You are so much more adorable than all these things, yet you harmonize as one. She now wrapped herself in the majestic garments of our ancestors, waltzed with the gracefulness of peacocks and swans. Dressed elegantly in a golden African abaya traditional, she sparkled like Mansa Musa's gold. Now the moon becomes my heart of longing, bathing in her light. One look at her, at the rosy cheeks and the lure that calls me like sirens, and I become reverent, charmed by the light of a million flares gleaming in my soul. and the sun dance on my windows, laughing in the ecstasy of our effulgent light, endowing me with the necessary fortitude, working through challenges needed for this journey. I imbibe love's myriad carousels, become merged in incandescent rays. O Queen, you are the bright flame of dragons, churning the sweet fire of love's victory, burning my meshy cobwebs and labyrinths along the way. I feel the spirit of Ubuntu, Armani, like one drunk with peerless wine. To ask me if I love you is to ask the mother lost in the miracle of childbirth how she feels. I am simply astounded into silence by a warm glow within that I can only relate to the sacred solitude. How can I ask the darkness what it is like to kiss the moon? Come, my beloved, mute this breath with the rhapsody of your nameless wine. I have left this world of sleep, of ignorance, to sing and dance with you like minstrels. O love, O beauty nonpareil, show me the way to your timeless bliss. Lantern Carrier, thank you.
Everybody unmute yourselves and give it up for Lantern Carrier.
Mesmerizing.
Lantern Carrier.
Always a treat to hear you.
That's why my wife
Awesome.
likes you more than me. That's why. Shit like that, man.
Sublime indeed.
What a journey.
Yeah. All right, so coming up next on the list, we've got Dre Reyes, the host of the Saturday Slam Jam. Dre, if you could unmute yourself, let us know who the guest coach is for tomorrow, and bless us with some words. I'd appreciate it, brother.
Sure thing, sure thing. Thank you all for having me. Thank you for having this space. Hello, everybody. This is Dre Reyes, host of the Slam Jam. Tomorrow, we're going to be having Shocky G on the show as our special guest coach. So if you want to be a part of that, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, the Slam Jam fam is going to be gathering, and it's going to be a fun time. So it'll be pretty dope to see some of y'all there. With that said, let's get on with the poetry. Okay. So I got two pieces. This one's my newest piece. I just presented it last night on Neo, so but I don't really have much of a title, but to preface this a little bit, I guess I got bored and I wrote a love poem, even though I'm not in love, so I don't know. It's kind of whimsical. Here we go. Being with you gives me a warm, nostalgic feeling to a time when I was a more complete human being. A tender sense of familiarity looking into your eyes brings forth a swarm of dope butterflies that swells my insides as I fly sky high all the way up to cloud 9. You're so sublime. You don't even know how fine of a dime you are. I just want to gaze into your eyes under the moon and stars, getting lost, finding passion larger than the size of Mars that clips any and all scar tissue memory meteors with the potential of finding true love much easier. How dope would it be to see how it could be if we can agree to be a wee bit closer to a degree, to see how it could be if we could plant this seed and watch it turn to a solid oak tree, symbolizing our unity as we branch out to infinity. If I boldly entrust you with the key to my heart, that's me saying that I'll love you beyond the point I depart from this realm. As long as we keep things heart to heart, our love has the potential to brush strokes of rainbow art on the canvas of the world around us and jumpstart a revolution in our hearts as we strive for state-of-the-art love. Poem. Now, I wasn't going to be reading this one here, but upon finding out about Magus's health, I wanted to do this piece. I know that he loves this one a lot. So without further ado, here's Odes to Crab Rangoon. Oh, Crab Rangoon, you fill me up with fulfillments when you're filling face plants onto a field of my taste buds. Every time I have you inside my oral cavern, I cannot help but want to crush you with my stalagmite teeth and swallow you into my abyss, while I enjoy feeling you disintegrate slowly under my pressure as you slide all the way down to the pit of my being. Oh, Crab Rangoon, you perfectly, highly addictive, yet perfectly legal drug. And yes, I said drug. Have you ever eaten one and not feel dopamine and serotonin flood every mini vessel in your being with the utmost sense of culinary nirvana? Oh, Crab Rangoon, you are the Asian equivalents to Pringles. Once you pop, you can't stop. In life, there should be only two universal defining periods: life before and after accepting Crab Rangoon as your Lord, Savior, and demigod. Oh, Crab Rangoon, you miracle of life, if you were made in your original pure form, the pharmaceutical industry would cease to exist because you cure all. I'll never forget the time I had that stomach ache and you with your crunchy exterior and your cheesy, creamy, crabby holiness. Oh, Crab Rangoon, you are the body of Christ. Your healing powers influenced me to start an underground street fighting club called Crab Rangoon Club. And the first rule of Crab Rangoon Club is that we definitely talk about Crab Rangoon Club. Oh, Crab Rangoon, the joy and despair of all. How they rewrote the history books. You, Crab Rangoon, every 80s power ballad and 70s adult film was inspired by you in some way by your rich, sexual white chocolate. Oh, Crab Rangoon, I am a goon for you. Always have and always will. Poem. Thank y'all.
Yeah, everybody unmute yourselves and give it up for Dre Reyes.
Thank you, Mr. Bear.
Nice to hear
Mr. Bear's
you.
here.
That piece. I still don't know what a crab rangoon is, but it sounds
Oh man.
awesome.
Yeah, you gotta go to a Chinese restaurant and order the crab rangoon. It is
Yeah, it's a food
delicious.
item. I know that.
Yeah, it is delicious. It's
Yeah.
like crab meat and cream cheese and some seasonings, and then they're like made into these little like dumplings and then deep fried. So you get the crunch and the creamy
So
filling.
good, yeah.
It's amazing, so good. I
They
used to
feel
judge
good.
restaurants based on how good their crab rangoon was. If it was nah, I wouldn't order anything else. So. All right, let's keep this show rolling. Coming up next, we've got Alex Phuong. Alex, if you could unmute yourself and bless us with some words, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, so Mr. Bear wishes everybody good health too, and cheers to the summer. Oh, and my birthday's also next month because I'm born the same day as Sandra Bullock. So every year on my birthday, ever since I was born, I get bombarded with entertainment news about Sandra Bullock's birthday being also my birthday. So I became a writer because of Jane Austen. So the first poem I'll read is called "Love She Wrote" because it's about her. A writer ahead of her time, romances with dances and purely sublime, elegant and eloquent prose with a sense of poetry, while offering social commentary and the meanings of love that extend beyond marriage, create a balance between logical sense and emotional sensibility, and timeless tales that provide insight into social interaction resulted in a new world filled with hope and possibility, as Jane Austen herself made her writing a gift to the earth for all its worth, while respecting the boundaries of propriety. Thank you. Okay, we'll do the second one. So this poem, I wrote this poem a few days ago to tell myself to not be scared of death and just be happy that I'm alive. And it also has an Aladdin reference. This is called The Worth of Life on Earth. Born into a world that undergoes constant change, having the willingness to adapt and rearrange, being a human being, living by doing, coping with the tough even when enough is enough, having a body and a soul in a world that is truly whole. And even if magic carpets are a part of fantasy, dare to find the beauty of living within reality and live with joy instead of sorrow, with the hope for a better tomorrow, as the world revolves around the sun, by daring to become someone, by creating an identity and being civil while focusing on the fundamental, to live in a way to make the most of every day, while understanding how the power of now truly is sublime, because it is this present moment in time. Thank you.
Yeah, it sure is. This present moment in time. And in this present moment in time, could you all unmute yourselves and give it up for Alex Phuong and Mr. Bear?
Nice work, Alex.
Hey, Bears.
Awesome. All right, coming up next, we've got Dominique Colding. Dominique, if you could unmute yourself and bless us with some words, I greatly appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much, Thomas and everyone. So glad to be here tonight. So I just have one piece tonight. It's very short, brand new shit. The title is The Radiance Within. Woman, she is the dawn, gave birth to the grand rising, unfolding the promise of a new day. Her strength, a loud, silent whisper in the heart of the storm. Her grace, a dance of shadows underneath the moon's gentle gaze. She carries the weight of the world with a smile that softens mountains, a quiet power that weaves through time, and the laughter of children in the embrace of the earth, in the defiant stand against the wind. Her eyes sparkling diamonds like stars that chart the course of dreams unspoken. Her hands, the artist of hope, molding the clay of tomorrow. Her voice, sweet, soulful song that lingers long after the music fades. She is the ocean, depths unseen but felt, waves of courage and compassion, crashing against the shores of apathy. A force of nature, unyielding, yet tender as the first bloom of spring. She is the story, written along the lines of history, etched in the struggles and victories, a tapestry of resilience, threads of wisdom and warmth, intertwined with the essence of being. In her, the world finds its light, a beacon through the darkest nights, a testament to the power and the beauty that dwells within every woman, a radiant flame that will never be extinguished. Thank you.
Wow, that was
That was
amazing.
dope.
Thank you, everybody. Give it up for
Beautiful.
Dominique.
Woo.
Thank you.
Fire.
Mhm.
Oh, that's so good, so good. I love that piece. All right. On deck, we've got Cora Gray's feature set, but coming up next, we've got the poet, Sophia Falco. Sophia, if you could unmute yourself and bless us with some words, I'd greatly appreciate it.
All right. I have a new poem about last week, and then I have a excerpt from If My Hands Were Birds that is more hopeful and for Pride Month. So yeah. So this one's intense, so I just want to throw that out there. If you're kind of feeling sensitive, then maybe not, you know. I just do that out of just protect people, you know. Sometimes for myself, I like to know if a poem's intense, so this is my own thing. So so here we go. This is out of the norm, okay, of what I normally do. Okay. The poet with a broken writing hand. He did not deserve his name, Moses, verbally harassing me for 3 days. Why didn't he pick on someone his own size? He was such a skinny guy. Hypothetically, in a real fight, I would have whooped his ass. He'd talk hella trash to me, but never talked directly back to my words. He walked away, perhaps physically unscathed, whereas I was phased, triggered beyond repair that week. This went down as anger resurfaced to great heights. No, I'm not talking about Make America Great Again, because that's bullshit yet. I'm a non-violent person, but inanimate objects are another story. So when I saw the whiteboard, I pulled the move that my favorite basketball player did and punched it, not necessarily realizing in the heat of the moment that what lay behind it was metal lockers. I'm still a damn poet, but with a broken hand. And that is devastating, but not as devastating as a dead body. Thank you. Poem 1. Okay, switching gears to excerpt of If My Hands Were Birds. I could still see blue for eternity in my mind's eye, and I wanted a more hopeful future, but I felt time was running out. Instead, worrying about tomorrow, the logic wasn't there, but the energy, the burden of sadness. I needed to release this into the past to lead into a more hopeful future, not hold on to being stuck, to break the cycle, to want to live today. I didn't want to cry anymore. But the gateway to tears had been opened, not the stairway to heaven, a man-made conception, ways to die, never really had a plan, while to conceive poetry, the birth of words in a specific order, while they aren't on my shoulders, not the devils, not the angels. They weren't prevalent in my life. I needed to reclaim this life was mine, to believe in life. Poetry, not time to tap out, time to tap in. I wouldn't let anyone tap my shoulder. As I got older, I was drifting farther apart from people. Closeness, I feared. But then I peered inside my soul. This pain is not your fault, she gently said, bringing me back to her. Scattered, what's the matter? The dandelion flower is not intact, in fact. Seeds spreading, soaring, silence I knew somewhere, but not here. And the melody of songs on my playlist, this was no play, this was devastating, yet still not a melee, but there was a melee inside me, taming the belly of the beast, but the beast lived in my own belly and my brain, traveling into my guts. A messy sort of demon. Such a facade to pretend okayness for so long. Used to be choking on my own words. I had fallen stuck in sadness and in madness, then making a way out. Not wishing on a star, no. But maybe hope lies on that tiny songbird's wings as Led Zeppelin sings, or a basketball in flight. The last day I took my last shot. Do we really only have one shot? I would answer this potentially rhetorical question. Maybe, in a sense, it's true. One action can end it all, and I still play ball. Swish, swish, swish. I have never have kissed my basketball. I have visualized this orange sphere as a shooting star, leaving a trail of light, putting the net to flames along with demons near dusk. I imagine myself with my future lover, delicately asking her, would you like a plum? So we could eat them together out of my cold icebox on a grassy hill, an aquifer of possibilities, overlooking a city, blurred lights, dots reflecting, blessed for a second chance, and not averting eye contact per usual, not the ground, but looking directly into her beautiful, bold, brown eyes under that starry night. Purple, purple. So cold, so sweet. Thank you.
Thank you. Everybody, unmute yourselves and give it up for Sophia Falco.
That was
beautiful, Sophia.
fantastic.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
love
that
that
was on the
piece.
second one.
Falco.
I love hearing excerpts from that book too. I need to get it. It's just such an amazing piece. I love it. All right. Without further ado, we have tonight's feature. Cora Gray Hewitt is a poet, artist, and hiking
She
itinerant.
had to step
Oh, did she
away.
step away for a moment?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I just seen that. Yeah. All right, we could wait a moment. I don't know how long and wait for them. Hopefully they won't be too long. I could do their intro and then we could wait. I guess she knows, they know who they are, so. All right. Yeah, so Cora Gray Hewitt is a poet, artist, and hiking itinerant who began using poetry and creative expression at the age of 7 as a means of processing stress and coping. They are a passionate writer who engages with the world like a leaf floating downstream. Every beauty and suffering that exists in their life are equally cherished and justly used in their creative process. They have self-published 5 poetry collections, their latest being Invasive, and attend a plethora of spoken word events in the San Diego region. Their work has transformed from simple reflections written on the trail to long-form poems that touch more deeply upon their experiences and mental health challenges. The most common themes of their work today reflect the dualities, persistence, and pervasive throughout life's transient nature. Cora's goal is to use their art to bridge barriers and share the commonality between people, place, and planet. You can follow Cora on Instagram at Sunbeam Machine. For publications, use the link listed in their profile. And by the way, I love that IG handle, Sunbeam Machine. So yeah, Cora, if you're ready, we would love to hear what you
I am ready. Thank you so much for the intro, and thank you everyone for holding space. And everyone who shared so far. I hope Magnus is able to listen to this and hope he's getting well in the meantime. But yeah, like the intro said, I did actually just receive the first copy of my newest chapbook. So I'm so glad. There is one error in this, but it's like the ink is fresh, you know? So that's pretty cool. And then I also released a chapbook in November, and I got that in the mail today, so that's really cool. So yeah, thank you everyone for being here. I am going to open it up with a few poems that I read at a recent headline in San Diego. So I think Bear is the only one who's listened to this. But for everyone else, it's new shit. And then after that set, I have new shit, which is something I've been working on a larger manuscript that has to do with eco-anxiety and climate change. New shit. So the first 4 actually coming from my latest chapbook, Invasive. This first one is called Mother. You guys can hear me, right?
Yep, loud and clear.
When you hear the word mother, what comes to mind? I picture an old growth forest with great coastal conifers, hundreds of feet above my head. I have to crane my neck or lay down on my back just to view the spaces where the highest branches touch the sky. And the spaces between each tree, crown shyness, are all too familiar when I think of the word mother. When I think of the word mother, I picture forces of gentle strength, the kind of willpower that women embody in moments of grief, compassion, vulnerability, and rage. The look of someone who has every reason to let go, yet remains steady as the earth beneath their feet, rooted in place as a boreal forest bolsters its defenses against the coming chill of subarctic climates. And they defer death in defense for their children, for life's right to continuous existence. When you hear the word mother, what comes to mind? I hear the sounds of the Pacific Ocean caressing the shoreline with equal melodies of rhythmic droning, and the soft whispers of waves, receding in foam and seagrass, long strands of wet kelp boas wrapping around my waist, making a squelching slap against my skin. And the salty embrace of the kelp is all too familiar to me, with how easily it slips away when I am finally comfortable with its touch. When I think of the word mother, I picture the world turning over on her axis, her many shades blending together on a Genation blue background, colors serving as a reminder to be gentle. Ochre deserts shadowed by snowy egrets spanning the oasis of home, suspended in dust, in absolute darkness built upon the smithereens of debris compacted over millions of years. And though the years of her life spans beyond our understanding, she is still adolescent against the annals of eternity. And we are little more than ideas fluttering like butterflies within the stretch marks of her belly. When you hear the word mother, what comes to mind? I picture the growing electricity of the summer rains upon my skin, catching the scent of the approaching storm clouds gliding across the Rio Grande, the arid landscape, and her parched denizens of creosote, tabosa grass, and tarbush open their pores for the annual cleanse, while cottonwoods in the valley whisper to each other of the coming flood. And the rains come as a volley of undecipherable words, which are all too familiar with the way they puncture the land, changing the imprint of the wash basins and leaving her plants to handle the stress on their own. When I think of the word mother, I picture an oasis in the desert, the only comfort left to a weary traveler born of the world's desires. How quickly they take to bathing in the waters, to resting in the shade of date palms and gratefully receiving its treasures without greed or overindulging. Too many dates would make one sick to the stomach when you've been traveling in the landscape of infinite creation. And the journey ahead is no less harsher than the one behind. The desert will supplant this time of rest offered, which is all too familiar with the way water and plant fibers make like a tight nest in which one can rest their head and nurse their health before the challenges to come. When you hear the word mother, what comes to mind? I picture the crinkles beside my mom's nose whenever she crosses her eyes and sticks out her tongue, a reaction she uses often, like a school child, whenever someone wants to take her photograph. She's a reserved character, in her own world at the best of times, or in her bed at the worst of times when the world is more than expected. When I picture her, I see how alike we are, how blunt we can both be when speaking. Similarly, overthinking our feelings until they cease to be recognized or overanalyzed. And though we share traits of neurodivergency, when I hear the word mother, I am sometimes estranged to the notion that she once mothered me, and how differently we believe nurturing to be. Poem. What's next? This next one is called kudzu. If you live in the Pacific Northwest, kudzu is the plant that literally covers everything. It's an invasive plant brought over from Asia. And it's just fucking everywhere. Anyway, kudzu. Oh, there is a bit of a trigger warning. This does have to do with sexual assault. I am sick with unrest. In the places where my body lies, I toss and turn, tense my neck until the muscles feel like dense layers of kudzu, strangling the trunk, carrying my head until the pressure jabs a bouquet of arrows into the atlas, which teeters with every movement of my eyes, searching for a solid fixture that doesn't sway with every breath. I breathe in, despite my worn wishes to remain empty. In this moment, painful stress, I am exhausted beyond sleep's reset. The call of the leaf falling to the earth is fuel to a vermiculturalist who feeds their vats of compost to red worms, wriggling their bodies in delight, delight measured in urine and humus. I want that. The ability to bury myself, to consume putrid foods and turn shit into something like gold. Gold to turn into nutrients to feed organisms more adept than I am when severed in two by an unchecked tool. Accidents happen to other people. I tell myself that I deserve this. Living in the dark, the damp air of my room is the perfect environment to grow mycological specimens like Lepista nuda, wood bluets, with their sweet citrus scent smothering my natural musk. I can see the dust floating like spores and pieces of my skin, pieces of my hair, pieces of my pieces suspended in the air. If I had the energy to bathe myself, I could declare my bathtub as a vernal pool, all of the microorganisms living on my skin now washed into the basin. Leave me alone to renew my coat and contend with what's left. I have little doubts that the new ecosystem built by my tardigrade depression would garner more attention than the illness hidden beneath my skin. What a shut-in I've become. How scientific of me to bottle things up, stamping my fatigue and feelings for future study, analyzing their contents, finding structural imbalances to trace back along generational lineages and traumas. Roots well thickened by ages of climate stress and little nicks of a pocket knife, chipping away for some ignorant purpose. With every cut, an immune response, slow and steady like the birch, never swift enough to secrete sugars to protect their core from predaceous do-gooders, who see the scars as an open story to narrate without context, adding their signatures without conscience, or to the limbs dispersing the abuse, reliving memories stored in the depths of their roots. And I know a tree, like me, can feel violated. We share this in common, the scars unseen, codified on growth rings that date back ages before we knew the sun. I understand that it's better to ask permission before entering the forest untouched by human hands, before plucking blossoms from branches that aren't yours. How unfortunate then that I had to learn this from an event rather than a conversation about corvids, coitus, and consent. And for this, I am sick with unrest. And the kudzu creeps a little higher into my head with every vine of remembrance. Poem. Oh. I need a breath. Can everyone take a breath with me and go and out? Thank you. This next one is Syringe. I've read this here before. And for those of you who have a short attention span, like I sometimes do, it might be beneficial to close your eyes to listen because it's kind of rapid fire imagery. In my dreams, I wake up in a hospital bed. I wake up in a hospital bed where the white rooms wash over my eyelids. The scent of antiseptics, invasive as fingernails upon a chalkboard clawing down, sends prickles crawling up my skin. Where the windows overlook a garden that I am unable to touch with my hands, but is close enough to dream about touching. Where the machinery is quiescent in the darkness, hands and dials of clockwork contraptions blinking in rhythm with steady pulses hidden beneath my spell-worn chest. Where the people are at their worst, At their best, underneath bed sheets freshly laundered, ready to accept bloodshed from battles fought, lost, and won against the Pied Piper of death, who sings and plays on chimes of scalpels, scissors, forceps, and curettes, which dangle from his lab coat beside a flute that he plays to usher patients from their windows, where memory alters as the imagery of the sky loses her freckles with janitorial swipes upon a glassy eye, overlooking a garden blurred by withering madness, washed out as a vague remembrance of foliage once felt by youth blossoming in the sun so long ago, where the spirit is tethered betwixt two paperweights, holding a picnic blanket upon dandelions and clover, a basket of naivete to rifle through and carry life's essentials, where the fabric catches, tears, and releases droplets of antioxidants to sink into memory as blueberry jam stains white cotton dress, hospital gowns tied round diverse bosoms and bare bottoms barely held by thin strands woven between incarnations. In my dreams, I wake up in a hospital bed. I wake up in a hospital bed with surreal colors, where attendants come in a mixed bag, pulling my name from clipboards battered by hands, battered by experience, battered by aspirations long eroded from their faces, yet still visible, with canyons of cracked smiles and weathered brows, spider vein wrists littered with sunspots and faded scars, whose stories once stitched and unraveled lay dormant and untold by pursed lips, fixated on the adolescent taste of cigarettes smoked in secret behind garbage bins filled with broken bedpans, half-eaten lunches, trash bags with tacky name tags, shredded documents, wristbands, color-coded and stamped with fourth-dimensional equations quantifying illegible jargon denoting the dreamers in their beds, who lay in whitewashed rooms, recalling mountains falling flat against the distance between bed frame, bathroom, and exit, where the outside air follows footsteps of patient people curiously wandering round the building, trying to get in to see family, who are locked behind gates guarded by signature and signage against persons without papers and bottomless pockets, where lint goes to collect on money laundered and sent out to banks, run by shadows that roll crisp Benjamin bills into straws, to snort disdain and pain for the evening fixations, who fix the price on medications, treatments, black gloves, and non-slip socks, physical exams given to rock-bottom check-ins, who attend their traumas and torments, plucking out brass bullets embedded into narratives to craft crowns of ammunition, pointing out, pointing in, loaded against the head, weighing heavy with the sky, where papier-mâché wings carry bruised bodies and schizophrenic images of Icarus falling, falling, falling. In my dreams, I wake up in a hospital bed. I wake up in a hospital bed with translucent walls, where the sun beats upon the glass and melts cinder blocks down to atoms, rebinds protons into tungsten bricks arranged devilishly into corridors and twisting passages, heavy, reflective, maddening, blinding walls of a mordant labyrinth built by Daedalus, who sits at my table studying a chessboard and feeding himself spoonfuls of sunbeams and Saint Teresa prayer candles. Melted wax, which drips from drooped lips and falls upon frigid floors. Another damn mess for the janitor, who polishes every surface with silver nitrate, to look himself in the eye, to observe the results of limbo, reflecting purity, lucid latency, ricocheting from ceiling to despair, nesting in the hearts of blackbirds, ready to crow, to fly, to bear the news at first light, who sing of the terrors and social pressures which pulverize soothsayers and radicalized witnesses by targeting their words, lighting halogen lamps to incinerate temples inhabited by authors, who rush to the window overlooking a garden untouched by decay, which cannot be entered without escort from the piper, who roams the corridors, always pressed for time, playing the tune for those ready to surrender to the lunacy of living in a syringe. Sorry, long-winded. Y'all can tell me to shut up if I'm going too long. Y'all ever have that issue where like you're reading way too long, your mouth just turns into a desert? It's the worst. So that was Syringe. I was going to read one more from this book. I was wondering how I was doing on time because I have 3 from my newer manuscript that I'm working on, which are all 3 minutes each, but want to make sure I'm not going over time here.
I honestly don't like to put time limits on creativity and artists, so tonight's your night. Go as long as you feel you need.
Okay, I appreciate you guys so much for everyone's patience. Let me, all my poems are so long. Thank you. I'll read a short one from Blue Heart, even though I didn't plan for it, because I feel like I need a short poem right now. Let everyone's decompress from all that stuff. This is called Oblivion. It was actually written as part of this Gothic writing prompt. Like there's like a poetry Gothic like writing prompt in October that I did last year. It was really fun. So the word was oblivion that we had to use. Cast out from oblivion, we curl our hands into our mouths, hoping to return. We wet our lips in the hopes to slip a question from unborn thoughts. We ask the world with eyes searching wide, when have I come from? Where have I gone? But all in all, we cannot say or speak with unused tongues. Our memories were wiped clean in the resurgence of oblivion, and instead, amidst lost dread, we wonder at our thumbs. Poem. The reincarnation of poem. Because I was thinking about how sometimes babies look like old people and sometimes old people look like babies, and it's just like that doorway. You die and you're old and you are reborn, you look kind of old. So that's what came of that. So I'm gonna read one more from my chapbook, Invasive, and then I'll switch to more eco-anxiety centered poems. This next one might need a trigger warning. It has to deal with the stages of grief. There's no like terrible imagery, but just in case. This is Genies of Grief. Back when I was living in a bottle, I believe that healing took a certain kind of touch. Not so much as a lover breaking my boundaries, but like a friendly or curiosity-driven gesture, a rub of my cold shoulders. I believe that if the right partner would come along and empty my burdens, cure my aches and pains, I would be free and gladly make their wishes come true. I'd give my time, my gifts, create worlds for which they could live, but as always, the magic fades. Depleted of my ability to please, I became little more than a bitch run out of tricks. Nothing left for bones to pick until sudden discontent. 2, the genie of discontent. Back when I was living in a bottle, I believed that healing came from idle ease. I filled my quarters with comforts and relaxing ornaments, isolated myself in a pillow fort with quilts to nest in and treats to ruin my teeth. I would sit and watch Neko Onagaishi on repeat, lose myself in the scenes. I would sleep and when the blankets grew heavy, have myself a little catnap to explore meadows filled with warm rivulets, to watch goldfish dart underneath lilies and flying fish jump into the trees. And this would keep me amused for days. I would dip my paws into the water and get lost in the rewards, but when I woke up, the joy of dreaming vanished, replaced by a fatigue that sleep could not cure. 3, the genie of fatigue. Back when I was living in a bottle, I believed that healing was a magical process. I believed that if I filled my days with the sights and splendors of the world, traveling where I wished and escaping into the nature like a bird set free, I would come home and feel at peace. I thought that if I kept moving long enough, I wouldn't feel so lost like a matchstick shipwreck, turning into a Molotov cocktail. The wind at my back and the trail at my heels were the only solaces that kept me from bursting into wildfire, as I often did when I returned home to my mirror dimension of lament. 4, the genie of scrutiny. Back when I was living in a bottle, I believed that healing was a cognitive process. I would scratch my head about this healing business, thinking, if movement did not free me, if immobility did not make me feel rested, if a relationship only led to exhaustion, what then? I believed that if I focused hard enough, I could find the root, the reason for my predicament, but the longer I furrowed my brows, the more the air inside my bottle stagnated. Thoughts, like fire ants, spewing from my collarbone, building a mound around me as I sat and got fat on frustration. As soon as I found some singular cause for my illness, it carried me along a network of traumas too interwoven to escape from. 5, the genie of drowning. Back when I was living in a bottle, I believed that healing wasn't as easy as I first believed it to be. I thought that if I wrote a message to the world and chucked myself overboard, the stormy sea would carry me to some distant paradise. And there I would rest upon some barren shoreline until the next hurricane came to rebuke my pleas. Perhaps an albatross would carry my burdens and break me open over a rock, watching me scurry about like a hermit crab without a shell before consumption. And I would gladly prefer that to drowning slowly while the sea seeps through the funnel of this temple, but there was always that chance that I could land someplace worth hiding. So I clung on and kept writing. 6, the genie of me. I am still living in a bottle. I believe that healing is nearly impossible. There's a sliver of fight left in me. My weary heart is ready to sink, but I know the stress fractures of glass borders surrounding are almost ready to crack and shatter. I will wake up one morning and fail to see my reflection staring back. Distortions and double visions will shift into clear depictions of fawns resting in a butterfly grove. There's white spotted fur safely ushering them through the cypress, despite the huntress crafting fletching for the midsummer hunt. And like them, I will gain strength, little by little, replace velvet skin for sharp horns to raise my confidence. Tomorrow, I may even believe in a future where the bottles never reform and my sorrow transforms into opulence. Tomorrow I may even say, back when I was living in a bottle, I was a collection of shells. Until at last, I finally found a home within myself. Home. Thank you, Bear. And thank you everyone for continuing to listen. So I'm gonna switch it up. Those are all very personal, heartfelt. Gonna get more, I don't know. Some people might think it's a little angry, but it's not. Let's see, where are you? So this is coming from a new manuscript. I feel like I'm always writing and always producing. Life of a poet is never done, I guess. Or, you know, when you have no one to talk to, you're right. So let me find this real quick. If I'm so good, I have 3 more for you. They're all relatively shorter. And the first one has to do with like a riparian zone. So a riparian zone is like a watershed. And I hike this spot near my house all the time, and the water has been slowly dwindling, just because San Diego, you know, we get the rain and then it dwindles over time. That's just how it is. But I noticed a few things on the trail that made me write this poem. That's up here. Riparian. Consider the footprints following heavy footsteps, tracing a trail that runs parallel to a canyon river, losing water as the sun tiptoes towards midsummer. The boulders on the other shore, where the living riparian vegetation is complete with disorganized beauty, are stained with lines of receding tides and marks left behind from vagabond artists. Their trivial signatures spray painted in places where birds catch gnats crowding crepuscular rays of light. Signatures on a boulder are easy enough to disdain, to judge without favor, to ghosts on the wind, but then consider the footprints following heavy footsteps, compacting dry twigs and gravel underneath rubber soles, plodding. Their attendant fixated on distance, fixated on pushing limbs through Ario willow forest, tromping understory medicines without notice. Flattened plantain, ragweed, and claytonia, the first casualties to adventurers getting closer to securing picture-perfect postures before another twist and turn of canyon river, whose surface of floating algal yarn crochets a city ripe for spawning tadpoles. Tadpoles, who hide in their abodes of eukaryotic phlegm, as they are too small to defend themselves against human hands sweeping the soup. Consider the pebble, kicked idle, rolling downhill to propagate across a secluded channel favored by blue-caped hermit. How the tripling ripples trigger a timer for fishermen and carp, setting in motion the swift strike of orange beak against freshwater scales where seconds are too swift to flip fish and to gullet as boot heels invade, disrupts rivulets, orchestrating the close-knit downstream community. The flight of great wings, eager to remain apart from sudden interest, an eager individualist, leaves a drifting wind to push dead carp into shallow shore. Here, the lapping water collects pebbles into makeshift barriers, reduces efficiency of watercourse crossing social trail built by the undoing of understory. Flattened cities of cattails, flattened cities of spiny rush and mule fat accept defeat and send roots to creep further toward the safety of algal pond, where sheltering bullfrogs go silent amidst trespassers venturing on until ruminating dusk. The sun goes down upon a town built by cornerstone malls, built on a land once inhabited by sycamore saplings with broad leaves that dazzled in autumn gold, foliage casting kaleidoscopic shadows across freshwater resource flowing down concrete byway into backyards with lawnmower lawns and cherry blossoms withered by the lack of rain. Jungles of composite bricks cutting through the landscape. It is there all adventures depart from you. And the footprints following heavy footsteps are little more than spots of wet cement in retrospect. Poem. Everyone breathe. I need to breathe. As an introvert, you're not used to talking this long. This next one is going to flow right from that last. This is called Economy Eats Humanity. It is super new. It probably needs some edits. So new shit. Still working on the title too. So if you think of a better title, send it in the chat. Oh, if you ever listen to Aurora, one of my favorite artists, she has a song called The Seed, and I use a verse in the last line of this poem. You cannot eat money, cannot consume the sickness embedded into the fabric of humanity, void of basic decency for humanity before the invention of economy, running rampant through small towns ill-prepared for savage-slaying, restructuring foundations, partitioning divisions 1/8 of their false origins. You cannot eat money. Oh no, you cannot barter jewelry twice for rations of bread, mustard, and salami, sliced thin as paper checks ready to bounce the minute they are signed by families struggling to stretch dimes, remaining from dollars, overtaxed by Federal Reserves and full print production. Machinery, circumnavigating checks and balances to stamp e pluribus unum underneath dead figureheads, whose principles of ancient logic have long been overruled, overstated, oversaturated with commodity. You cannot eat money. Oh no, you cannot eat collective bargains of collections plastered in slums where holding community becomes a crime of insanity, in a world resurging with psychosis of normality, normalized depravity, figures of speech ruling in favor for white-collar criminals and their charismatic malice. Snake-like tongues that twist phrases into sound bites, sliced into B-roll, edited with repetitive syllables, slogans handed out like poker chips, with a seasoning of indifference against those who suffer from the diseases afflicted by a system built upon the guarantees of self-criticism. You cannot eat money. Oh no, you cannot feed a community with economy feeding itself with the pitfalls of civility, orchestrating conditional awareness, orchestrating inner modification and self-flagellation for the commonality of suffering as a basis for society. Society thriving on eradication of the hungry by outlawing visibility of poverty, spending tax incentives on installing park benches with armrests, planting cactus fields and ditches, withdrawing funding from public services awarded for helping the homeless. You cannot eat money. Oh no, despite trying, the human body does not run on to-go meals and plastic clamshells filled with empty calories. Unless you are a cog in the machine turning in ignorant bliss as goods and services get printed in excess of demand, in excess of above necessity, in excess of sustainable harvest, you cannot eat money. You cannot eat money. Oh no, you cannot eat money. When the last tree has fallen and the rivers are poisoned, you cannot eat money. Poem. highly recommend listening to that song. It's pretty cool. And thank you so much for your patience. Last and not least, I actually wrote this on Monday. So if you were here Monday at the at Chaos Magic, I read this. Strawberries. Shards of selenium. Potent medicine bars for shareholders sleepwalking into liquor stores. Clears sins of the silent, cleans droplets of hunger from their chins with white cotton cloths, woven on a loom long departed from Baja California, bombarded by cyclones, that remain little as an image on newsreels nestled between spreadsheets marking profits, returns on investments, in consummation of the land ravaged and discarded. We barter for the sky while rhinestone eyes retreat into clementine sun, creeping over the horizon, bakes earth, fractures without prejudice to agricultural spoils, pill bugs crushed beneath boot heels, broken treads beneath bent brown backs scooping strawberries into plastic baskets. We peruse markets for just desserts to fill our pantries, pots, and pockets. Imaginary money exchanged for strawberries, harvested cheap, consumed without regard to sweat dripping on dewdrops suspended on green leaves needed to sustain rewards. We go hungry in the eyes of prairie fields. Who fractures her treasures for apartment windows, overlooking apartment windows, seeking scenery and spoils that used to be, now fallow due to the pit and pinnacle of wealth, measuring the fallout of weathered hands carrying green lines to percentile peaks. Shards of crystalline glass, dewdrops, glittering over fractured meadows, drips down from steel beam buildings, evaporates like doobie is donated to a Chicano with all his belongings sitting on the corner of 6th and El Prado, who sits upon a sofa couch embedded between highway poppies, asphalt dandelions, and trash bags of soda cans. Aluminum, traded for strawberries that he harvested weeks before the season closed the market for labor. He barters his weathered shoes, dried mud caked into crevices, rubber treads with cracked heels, exoskeletons and remnants of organisms petrified without equal payment for their hard labor. Laborers swindled, federal crumbs dolled out in exchange for blisters and eyes wrinkled by time under Cinnabar's sun. He peruses urban corridors, chasing shadows to evade the afternoon sun beating down like a carnival cheating children of dreams. Carnations in 5-gallon buckets exchanged for invidious tickets handed out of monochrome sedans. Slips of carbon copies passing through tinted window to concrete medium. Placed in pocket for hindquarters bent over crushed ice plant. He hungers for places no longer offered by farmers reluctant to fracture their fields of prairie grass and alfalfa, which bakes in the summer air, is then replenished by Colorado aquifer, stretched thin like sunburnt skin, catching marine layer mist for a morning rinse. And the scent of strawberries in the wind catches like memories of anthocyanin staining calloused hands with sweet crimson. Red, like the generational inheritance of promises long overdue for realization by the wealthy, who care nothing for strawberries, so long as their profit margins remain steady and the Chicano on the street corner remains as the scapegoat for consumers purchasing produce at the supermarket. Poem. Whew.
Yeah, everybody unmute yourselves and give it up for Cora Gray.
Your imagery, Cora?
Wow.
What? Like, I feel like I'm in the movie and I'm floating in slow motion and my hands are floating on top of flowers and petals and a whole none. Like, you're fire.
Thank you so much, CP.
I'm glad I came. Glad I came.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing this feature. It was just amazing, the whole set. Like, what a ride, what a journey.
Amazing
Yeah.
set. Thank you.
Thank you,
Fire set.
everyone.
Uh,
Lots of scientific jargon in there, so hopefully you caught up with me.
That's what I enjoy about your poetry.
Thank you, everyone, for sharing space and listening.
oh, what's that band? Sorry, what's the band? Aurora?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the song is The Seed. And she's supposed to be releasing a new album next month. So I don't know. If it's your vibe, then look out for that next month.
Yeah,
I'm
thank
just
you
being
again
selfish.
so much for doing this feature. It was amazing. Yeah, we're gonna continue on round one. Unfortunately I will be listening, but I have some business that I have to take care of on the computer. So I will be listening to you all. I will be here, but I have to turn off my camera and flip over to a different screen so I can get some work done and do some catch up. But yeah, thank you again so much, Cora, and I look forward to hearing from the rest of you guys. Dre, if you want to take it over, I appreciate you, brother.
All right. And the baton has been passed. All right. One more time, give it up for Cora for one hell of a feature, everybody. Seriously.
Yeah.
Cora.
All right. Now, moving along with this open mic. At this very moment, stepping up to the plate now, please give it up for Stephanie Vance. When you're ready, please unmute. Take it away.
Hello, everybody. Happy Friday evening for most of you, I believe. I have a collab tonight. Jackson, Riley, will you please unmute yourself?
Yes, I will.
Hi.
So hi. Do you want to introduce it?
I mean, it kind of started with you, so I feel like maybe you want to do the honors.
Okay. So this is a poem that Steph and I collabed on almost a month ago now. Published this on May 17th to Substack. I will put a link to that in the comments. But it's called Unasked and Unanswered, A Pas de Deux. Should we read it?
Please, go ahead.
All right. On a weekend day, midsummer, I awoke with morning lumber. Bored of rendering static memories, I endeavored to download Bumble. Eager for a silk sheet tumble, I witnessed my scruples crumble, jettisoning my lofty standards for a game of hide the cucumber. Swiping right until I find a match. All right, come on now, what's the catch? I formulate a string of pickup lines, then pick and send a batch. We plan a date, till then we wait. The night arrives, the mood is great. The moonbeams illuminate her animal's sun-dappled gaze. As liquor pours, the quick rapport soars. We skip the film and sail full bore to the gory details. I'm on retail. After all, that's what all this was for. The next morn, I arose early, half dazed, in a foreign place. Where are my clothes? How many shots did I take? Can't feel my face. My head's a wreck. I smell like sex. I collect my things and make to jet. But before I can, I feel a pang of steel in the heel of my neck. Here comes the shame. Am I to blame for the guilt that racks my swollen brain? Surely not. I'm not even sure I ever learned her Christian name. What the hell is in a name anyway? Don't our bodies get the final say? We're all going to die, so say la vie and fuck it, seize the day. As soon as I leave, I'm right back in the red. So I curse and climb back in the bed. Maybe this time it'll ease the dread and leave something else in its stead. I fight my frown and lie face down. Life's a circus. I'm a clown, an addict, a romantic, codependent. Heavy lies the crown.
He leaves before the break of day. Neither the glittering banter nor the bespoke cocktails nor his grasp on the scruff of my neck burn quite as bright as the creaking floorboards beneath his feet in the small hours of the morning. Though how could I forget the night before, the look on his face, the need in his eyes? Surely he saw it in mine. Animalistic, the both of us, it's true, reduced to instinctual urges, or should I say ascended is instinct, not our purest form. How could I refuse when I knew what it would be to be pressed down by him, if for a day, an hour, a minute, to dig my nails into something substantial, to give my hand something to do other than swipe and swipe and swipe. Here we have a real live specimen who looks like his profile, more or less, maybe a charitable 5'10", but still a perfectly suitable playmate, and maybe something more. At least that was my thinking, until my baser instincts got the better of my better angels, my need for instant gratification, to not ask the questions for fear of bad answers, and so create for myself a pigeonhole. First impressions last and last and last. I have seen this movie before, know the end credits by heart, and yet it's all I'm fit to watch. It's all I'm fit to do, fulfill some ill-gotten fantasy of animal urges and power dynamics, as if that fantasy is mine too, as if the only thing I want is to be pinned underneath. They never ask about anything else for fear of bad answers, can't let it break the spell, but it takes two to sabotage. And as for my part, I pretend to be asleep when at dawn he gets up to leave. Paul.
Everybody unmute yourselves and give it up for Stephanie and Jackson. Wow.
Yeah, that was dope.
It was a good collab. Thank you.
Creativity. Yes.
Do you happen to have one more piece?
As a matter of fact, I do. I wasn't sure, but if there's room, I'm happy to do another piece.
2 thumbs up.
Okay, this one, I don't usually rhyme very cleanly in my poems, but this one kind of came out that way, and so I'm a little self-conscious about it, I think. But it's called Sin of Omission, and here it is. This is a note of contrition, a solemn admission that sometimes I have to omit a few lines to make this narrative shine, to pull it off with a straight face when it really isn't my place to victimize myself, the gall, when I have been the worst of them all. Pretending as if I didn't know better, like I didn't see, couldn't read every letter every time I looked into their eyes. Kel's surprise, that half-squint expression and all it implies. I just chose not to see, so there was nothing to do about the fact that I did not love you. At least one would think I'd carve out a line, a hat tip to the ones who would never be mine, because that's how I wanted it. Let me be clear that I'm not even close to the victim here. Still, I'll rant and I'll yell about fuckboys and sad sacks. That is my niche, my baggage to unpack. And so I have sinned, but to which I'll say these sins of omission are starting to get in the way of my woe is me narrative. It's time for a reprieve and a reminder that I am usually the one who leaves. So this is for those whose midnight regret is me, who tossing and turning I will not let be. I wish I could tell them I think of you too. I wish I could say that, but it's not altogether true. At least not how they'd mean it. That gets me in trouble, not clarifying meaning, always seeing double. But if there's one thing here that is honest and real, at least they should know that I know how they feel. Poem.
Wow.
Everybody unmute yourselves. Please give it up for Stephanie Vance.
Yeah, Stephanie.
What a nice 1-2 combo you've given us tonight, for real.
Yeah.
What?
Oh man. And we're just about to get even deeper into this. Because stepping up to the plate now is CP Maze. When you're ready, please unmute and take it away.
Yeah, I got some poems. Shout out to Cora, sick feature. Still believe I'm in a movie, deleted scene. Shout out to Stephanie and Jackson. Like, creativity is a hell of a drug. We should get stoned sometimes. Here's 2 poems. Okay. Oh, where did you go? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Bear with me. 2 new poems I'm trying to work the kinks out on. Transmission keeps slipping. Pray that you didn't miss the bus. There's an energy drink dancing down your throat, and all you can contemplate is creators on the moon. Last night you dreamt that you were a carnival act, being blasted 50 feet into the air from a cannon in the cute girl's mouth. She simply said, "I love you." Like I Love You was never guilty of being a flight risk, could ever safely land a cracked heart and crooked smile. Beware of first-class tickets to tumbling boulders. Beware of all boarding passes and weight limits and unchecked personal baggage, carried off by ghosts and remixed into power ballads. Beware of hard rock bands and or rocked up hard cracked rock out gods with their groupies and backstage passes, and the fallen and their fallen and their hard-hitting headstones that just keep falling for headaches and encores with mudslides voted most likely not to be mistaken and or taken lightly, in fist fights with lightning that never seen anything of my likes. Heaven ain't never scared anything that I'm like. I am no longer fighting gods for their innocence, no longer fighting for slipping grips on my innocence. Now I'm fighting over unholy warlords, bench warrants, and every guilty ongoing, going in and on and off on, and every one of my convictions and all of these guilty sentences, as if all I grim reaped wasn't all I ever sowed. As if I wasn't always harvested from fruitful grapes of wrath, that wasn't always all ready to come in with, wasn't already bruised-skinned, a headliner headlining a headstone. Right now my father's name is still starring in an unmarked grave, so now no longer am I that son of gun CP Mays. Now I'm that son of a bitch that keeps calling God out by his goddamn government name, pulling up to every collection plate dent, bent off a bottle of Clark Kent, smelling like leave me the fuck alone. It's so hard to call on God when all of our phone booths are gone. What does a mortal man say to an absentee God? If you believe in an absentee God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're an attention whore. I really am. Poem I wrote for somebody. Some of the one I'm working out the kinks on, yeah, here's the other one. I need a title. I don't like the one I have. So I'm with Cora on that one. Starts like this. The wind was blowing, tell me you love me, across the promise me you'll never forget. These are not birthmarks, darling. Heaven just left hickey marks at the nape of my neck. Tender satin scarf, French kiss of fine art flesh. The streetlights were eavesdropping on our halos. The streetlights were wondering why, the skyline was wondering why I can't seem to hold eye contact with constellations anymore. I was palm wandering across the universe of untangle me breakdowns. I just want God to give me shortcuts on side streets or better highway directions on how to find my way back to his house again. You snuck out of his house again. Breathe the scent of our swirling rose petal summer skin. Candlelit lovers spit all over my sometimes. I just read you wrong, and I'm sorry for that. Sweetheart, my so sad, so sorry for my so often. I'm so often so sorry, so sorry for all of my. I'm so sorry for that. I'm sorry for how my hands maneuver around the curvature of your table of contents body, bookmarking my past mistakes, lost like looking around for the any next chapters I'll be blessed by thee. Please let me be in the manuscripts of your dot, finally frisky, wishing dream well scented in of and of birthday sexy suit fit, a fragile firm form wet angelic silhouette, sweats of a miracle in your meteor shower mouth smiles. Sexy is a dotty ellipses. Please tell me if I'm worthy of another chapter to be written in, or written off, or written out, or fucking written down, or good riddance now. Yesterday, I flipped the bird towards one of my fragile backbones. Realize the mirror's just a professional liar, and karma's just a blank check. Life is a who I can't keep wet. Gamble on yourself even if it's just a poker face bet. Sexy is, oh sweetheart, oh little old me, don't never mind me, my catharsis. It's a comet's tale. I hitchhike through the galaxy of your grin on. Your mouth is a miracle heaven doesn't make anymore. Mi amore, your tongue has become a bully in the back of my throat. Your French kiss is a parole board freeing me from my bad convictions. Your thighs, two lips, a two-strike pitch. My tongue plans on hitting a home run through your heart. A house I've packed my bags and I've left from way too many fucking times. The fever of your feminine sexy scripture sweat. My favorite across sensual skin nipples. My favorite font. I want to dip all of my typeface into the narcotic liquid of your silhouette, just to write, rewrite, and edit myself back into the nape of your neck. Deep dive underwater wishing wells with you until I owe you every fucking vowel in my breath. Hashtag respect. Hashtag I'm a fucking train wreck. Hashtag I love with no regrets. Hashtag you are my no regrets. Sexy. Sexy is an insult to the skin you wear.
Wow.
Yeah.
After everybody lifts their jaw off from the grounds, please give it up for CP Maze.
Yes,
Holy
CP.
shit.
I need some title suggestions.
Yeah,
Throw them in
Dude.
chat. Thank you.
Oh man.
Incredible.
Seriously, I've been thinking about that poem since the last time I heard it. That was like weeks and weeks ago.
I've shaved so much off of it, and now I'm
It's
like,
beautiful.
yeah, I'm trying to get it there. I'm trying to get it
That's
there.
beautiful.
It's incredible.
That is something definitely worth working on. That is immaculate. Damn. One more time, give it up for CP Maze. Oh, shit.
DP.
Thank you.
Ooh.
Thank you.
I need a
Ooh,
moment
Jackson's
recovered from
next.
that one.
Ooh, Jackson's next. Ooh, Jackson's next. Ooh, Jackson's next.
Damn right. Jackson Riley is stepping up to the plate now. When you're ready, unmute and let it go.
All right, I have two poems I'd like to share here. The first of which I wrote over the course of last week. I took a week to write it, refine it, and then I've published it. I'm gonna share that link, and The other poem is one that I wrote yesterday in one sitting. So there's going to be, there's probably going to be a stark difference between the two. But this is the first one published. This is Nervosa. You look nice. Need a warm light, room for two. Let's fly a kite and take flight till we're out of sight, at least out of mind. Say it again, pretty please, that pretty itty bitty lie. I'll pretend I'm someone else, gracefully disguised in plain sight beneath the bright gaze of pretty stars, full lips, satellite, and pretty eyes. A welcome, guys, skin tight, kiss, bite, only tonight, just shut the door quietly behind you. There are condoms in the side drawer. I'm not hungry, I'm bored. My belly aches. I would for cake, but wouldn't eat it. It would have surfaced at my hips. Anyway, there is a surfeit to spare. I smile with my lips because my gorgeous teeth have up and gone and lopped off all their hair. Sure, like you don't already know. Like it's not the very first thing you noticed. Want for restraint is a character trait. Shatter my plate and eat off of my face. I would do it myself, but I'm not hungry. I'm bored. What happens here stays, or so I cannot help to fear. Steel globes linger far too long in funhouse mirrors. I swear they're always greener on the other side of the Ferris wheel. I swear I meant the photo reel. I swear at God on even keel. I swear to you that this is real. Kim sex, crystal queer, reeling back. I'm in tears. I realize I can finally steal a peek beneath my cheekbones, and to me that means a solid deal. So I swallow whole the solemn peel. There's no need to stomach a solid meal. Have you been listening at all? I already told you, dear, I'm not hungry. I'm bored. Are you the one who led me here? The patch of canned static comes fresh after the cycle ends. Carmex, Carmichael for Sacramento charlatans. Chalamet, Chopin, Caraway, and cardigans. Bypass clotted, corroded, carotid arteries and start again. Last summer, I met a lamb. In passing, she passed me over, so I discovered a new prophet, not in it for profit, a pen holder, a marine cut from the razor-skin teeth of a fabric boulder, a priest who proselytized Ephesians on anesthesia and air guitars, sung in flaming tongues of heaven, promised fig Newtons in Kandahar, raw artistry, undoubtedly more than just a vocation, vibrations dispatched swiftly with righteous premeditation, epinephrine screaming, impatient past training stations. Vocal buckshot felt world round, each minute hand a rotation, every syllable a new moment, new stanza, a meditation. A whirlwind I'd never witnessed live, now mortally internalized, but more pressing, I can only spend so much more precious time, no longer mine, going on and on about a Houston Hill song for golden eyes. I often hate it, in truth, the dogged pursuit of capturing on-screen light-speed perfectionism, fervid focus bordering on special interest stoicism, fanaticism fit to bore into inchoate marble prisms, either chiseled canyons or candy-crushed Crayola aneurysms. It's everything or it's no metal more romantic than the binary. Hardly lattice work, but damn. A coin flip. May thy coin chip and shatter. What's a coin to a god? Absolute passion impassions absolutely, empowers absolutely, enslaves absolutely. What's a slave to a coin-fearing god? What's a coin to a god-fearing slave? Penny for your sins, go lime your penny stock, I'm Penny Lane. I shoot up with smooth dimes of southern comfort, quartered in pithy rain. I fear my poetry's become too one-note, prithee, pity me and my pretty pain. Aim solely to relate to plain Janes who cannot quite relate and dare not deign to wade into the sen of this son of Cain. See, what started as a catharsis has developed well past its target into a new vein, a hardly recognizable, ostentatiously inlaid sarcophagus, a rapaciously placed, stretched out shark jump null hypothesis hedged on untempered edge, unsettling an unsullied temperate audience. But no man is Hawaii. Colossus is not a monolith. Unfamiliar faces along the unpaved road to provenance means a fresh start, replete with green pastures and newfound confidence. A new chapter from which to gather all manner of new nonsense. Thank you. This next poem is the one that I just wrote yesterday. So it may need some refinement. This was just stream of consciousness, and it's called 10 Weeks. Growing up, I played Mad Libs and listened to Mad Villainy, taught myself how to ad-lib and experimented lyrically, wicked lines to break the wicked lines but make it sexy, re-inspired at 23 in another In 40 years, I'll be 60. In another year, I'll be 25, assuming that I'm still alive and not burrowing, buried beneath the floorboards. I refuse to rest on my laurels. It's my duty to continue improving my little shop of floral flows and benedictions, Cumberbatch, burdened by a promising young talent, imbibes predilection to silence a mind impious, frantic, and ain't that just the way? It's always heyday when you're on tour. Life's always a parade for a soul often taciturn, but nonetheless convivial, apparently. It's imperative that they keep looking for the beauty in the world, not consuming or engaging only with what the monologue is saying. Pray for me, purposefully. Personally, I'm sick of baying at the gates of a God who cannot be bothered to acknowledge my cries. A case of white lies predicated on white lies. Classic. There's an entendre there if you even care to read between the lines. No pressure. I know that you're busy and I wish not to waste your time. It's precious to me. You are precious to me. See, without you, I'm nothing. I need you to validate my art, to tell me that this vocation is worth the blood, sweat, and tears, that it is something bigger than me, to be told that I'm worthy, that these anxieties can't hurt me or touch me. Have I earned your trust? Am I trustworthy? Do you believe me? Am I believable? Someone has to be, right? So do I command your belief, or am I just another fiction? To my Baroque baby brother, whom I smothered in the ribs, I was going on 18. You were only 6 teenagers, both sick mortally, but old enough to know better. Weathering each other's weather just became the status quo. It's too bad, and though I'm sad, I'm glad for you. I sincerely hope it's better, your life without me in it. Is it possible that I may too be better off without your presence? On whom now am I to lavish presence whene'er I'm feeling altruistic? I'm a hedonist. I'm an idiot, a ventriloquist. So silly it is looking back, but it's so pretty in the rear view. At least I got some modicum of enjoyment out of it before it up and dove nose first out of the back window. The metaphor examined blurs, but I'll forever stand beside my words, for I'm a goofball with conviction. Sam, Adams on the rocks well is fine. I'm on a mission. I'm desperate for admission to a specific sphere of religion, an earnest coterie, a movable meal for souls of artists manifest who bleed ink until their canvas is properly soaked through, workshopping the rest. A test I'm confident I not now pass. I'm insecure, anxious, and I think you know the rest. Gaze deep into my soul through my words until my rasterized green eyes deliver unto you new worlds. Hey, look only at the screen in front of you. Single file lines, single file lines. You hear that? Sit down when the teacher's talking. I hear teaching's the best way to learn, so maybe I'll take a turn and cut my teeth on cafeteria lunch meat. No sanitary salad option or eager lunch ladies. To make ends meet, they work for 2 salaries, minimum wage for working overtime hourly. How cowardly the flowery, omniscient powers that be. But industry is nothing in the face of artistry. But it's a man's world, and men want shiny things, shiny suits and shiny cars, what money provides in shiny spades. Tip $1, plant a seed, save a life, shade yourself under a prepaid debit card. Discover that the cover image is a royal blue Corvette, an American bet for a coquette show set in Amsterdam. Am I proud to be an American? Am I proud to be here? I know myself, and I'm hardly proud to be me, but what is America? What is pride? Maybe I really was there. I swear I wasn't, but I suppose it doesn't matter since everything is caught on camera nowadays. I'm spiraling in circles, don't know which way yet. Check back in a couple days and I'll try my best to paraphrase. Thank you.
Yo, everybody give it up for Jackson Riley for that 1-2 there. Wow.
Oh,
Nice
yeah.
job.
That was awesome.
That was
That's-
phenomenal.
And everybody, please check out that link that he posted in the chat there. I just subscribed to it, and I recommend you do the same. He wants the latest and greatest from our family member here, Jackson Riley. One more time and give it up for Jackson. Yeah.
Your rhyme
All right.
scheme has a rhyme scheme, has an internal rhyme scheme, has an internal rhyme scheme. That's refreshing. That's just refreshing. Sick shit.
Indeed. Again, awesome work there, Jackson. Moving on with the open mic here. Up next, we have our own propaganda poets, Bear. When you're
Let's
ready,
go.
take it away.
Peace, love, and poetry, y'all. Sorry, I've been in and out. I've been dealing with the American healthcare system. Speaking of the American healthcare system, before I do anything, I want to do this haiku that I just wrote for Gustav. We all love this is for you, Gustav. You're gonna see this. You're gonna hear this. You're gonna come back. Everything's gonna be good because you're a badass motherfucker, and we miss you. We all love chaos magic, feral moons roaring, memories of you. And then I got 3 short poems, all new shit. This is called Feral, Ode to the Actual Savages. Found foraging for final feasts, egalitarians equivocate ever-ending enthymemes, roundly reducing recidivism, recouping rewards, regrouping all antithetical afterthoughts, aggravating anti-accountability and anger across archaic authoritarianism, lascivious liars, leading legalized learning loss, leaving local legacies lost. This one is some of you might get this, some of you may not. But for those of you who've been following the greatest meme event ever in the history of humanity, you'll understand this poem. This is called Of Man and Bear. So a man and a bear walk into a bar, and that's pretty much as far as it got, because the man felt that he needed to be heard, so the last thing the bear heard was a shot. Now, I'm not talking about bourbon and I'm not talking about scotch on the rocks. This is about being locked and loaded, being coded into generation after generation of degradation and mutilation, of manufactured retaliation, manufacturing men into believing that fear is the best way to rear children, lead nations, have intimate relations. And then fear becomes their facts, making retaliation their only feasible, reasonable reaction when somehow, somewhere, a bear and a woman walk into a bar and the woman says, I'll have what he's having. And then one last one. This is called Fear Itself. Stop, drop, and roll, or fire will take its toll, and we all had to know that hiding under the desk was an important classroom test, but neither of these drills ever prepared me for the real fears of this world. Monsters aren't really under the bed, and they're certainly not the ones who are being forced to hide in closets. Scooby-Doo knew that, childhood knew that Scooby-Doo taught us these lessons true. The monsters are everywhere. Hiding in plain sight, whether it be day or night, this colonizer mind control is what we really need to fight. Avoiding living room lava and bedroom quicksand never addressed this manifest of the ghostly white man. The real monsters kneel on necks. The real monsters write hush money checks. The real monsters don't care what we need. They sacrifice our human life just to feed their greed. So you see, our destiny is pure death, you see, for any of those who should know better than to actually question or disagree. The real enemy is not the people on the other side, but the hatred and the fear that they use to divide. So flee the bathtub piranhas while you scan for pool sharks, but recognize as they criticize, they're just setting up their next marks, preparing pawns to participate in a childhood's endgame. Where Scooby-Doo now wear horseshoes and Shaggy's at the mall. Fred is sped out of his head and Daphne had a great fall. But Velma's well in living hell, now the queen of the mystery ball. When Hannah left, Barbara wept. And now the monsters masquerade as us all. Thank you for listening. Thank you for encouraging my behavior. Thank you for being here for each other. And reach out to Gustav, man.
Give it up for Bear.
Great job, Bear.
Great job, Bear.
Oh
Great.
yeah, brother.
Man.
With the bear poem and everything.
On with the open mic here, where we're getting close to the end of the list.
It's very hard to hear you.
Oh, sorry. That was my dumbass right there. There we go. I think we're coming much better. All right. So we're rounding off the end of this list here. We got 4 more poets in the first round here. Up next, please give it up for Merilee Johnson.
Thank you very much. And Cora, it was great to hear your set. That's very inspiring. I just have one piece tonight. Knock, knock. Who are you? It is I, Dorothy. Why do you dare enter the kingdom of the Towel King? Wait, I thought this was going to be about Tolkien. You misunderstood. I am the great and powerful Towel King. What business have you here? I have a book review? This is not about books. This is about towels. For 40 years, my towel kingdom has stood. Can you do a towel review? Okay. It's fluffy, sort of. Yes, go on. It's soft, and I imagine it must be very absorbent. You must sound sure. Well, it's a review. Okay, let me dip it in water. Oh, it seems very absorbent. There's no water left in the vase. And what about the smell? The smell? Would you be willing to put your nose into it and take a big sniff? That depends whether it's been used before. It is brand new. It has been cleaned with a wonderfully scented laundry detergent. Go on, sniff. Okay. Achoo! That doesn't look good if you sneeze upon smelling my towels. Look, I can't help it, okay? I have sensitive skin. I must be allergic to your towels. Listening to the customer. That is a thought. That is the going trend. People will like you better for it. Thank you for your feedback. If I could just ask one question, I'm looking for the great and powerful Oz. This is not the place for Oz. You must go down the hall, second door on the left, and if your dog has left any presents on my rugs, you will pay the cleaning fee. Good day. Thank you very much for listening.
Everybody, please give it up for Merilee for that wonderful, fun piece.
Thank
That was
you.
awesome. So unique too.
I'm not gonna look at towels the same way again after that. I'm gonna be playing with my own towels. I don't know. All right. Stepping up to the plate now. I believe this is their first time on Open Minds, so let's give an Open Minds, Open Arms welcome to Valerie Sharp. When you're ready, please unmute and take it away.
Hello. This is my cat.
That's a cool cat.
You're right. She fucking is. My name is Valerie. I'm a poet and an artist in Oklahoma City. I'm gonna read 2 poems for you that have done well in the Oklahoma City scene. When I say well, I mean people clapped, which is it's kind of weird because it's virtual, but you know what? I like to try new things. This is called If I Were Born a Boy. If I were born a boy, I wouldn't be here reading a poem. I'd be stretched out on my futon, watching a Christopher Nolan film and thinking only of how much I like it. If I were born a boy, I wouldn't waste my monies on feminine frivolities like makeup and hair stuff and antidepressants. If I were born a boy, I'd get my Eagle Scout badge, and my dad and his dad and his dad would stand behind me, hands on shoulders, generations of good men raised by good wives. I'd slick my hair back behind my unpierced ear and smile for the sobbing mothers holding cameras and wallets and burdens and all the things that don't fit in my reasonably sized pockets. If I were born a boy, I'd know how to shoot a gun and get the job done and be mediocre without guilt. I'd chug beers and understand sports and wear cargo pants, and people would ask me what kind of engineer I am. Mechanical, I'd say, just like my dad. If I were born a boy today, I'd be a man, and I'd be a good man because I'd only hurt women unintentionally. I know how to break hearts instead of heal, and I'd always hurt efficiently, relying on plausible deniability. You're being a little too dramatic about this. If I were born a boy, Valerie would mean nothing because James IV continues the family name. makes his parents proud, plays sports and punches walls, and likes girls and loves guys, and never reads poems. Thank you. Here's my...
I love that so much.
Thank you, thank you. This one is called The San Fran Sick, and it's a little, you know, but I'm, it's fine. You're gonna be fine. Okay. I stand in the busy downtown square. My eyes squint in the sunset and I look at the fashionable shoes that have transformed my feet into something from a horror film. I close my eyes and hear city sounds, almost like back home, cars and chatter on concrete. But it's not home. I smell it in the sea breeze that carries particles of tourism, salt water, and overpriced hot dogs. In the distance, a seal barks. Is something wrong? My friend is tired too, but she's got an Adderall prescription, so I interpret the question as genuine. Oh, you know, I say, trying to decipher on how honest I should be here. No, really, you look upset. Are you okay? My hand drifts to my purse and I check my wallet for the 14th time today. It's just, you know, when I was in the store and there was a smell, and you thought of the smell and the memory, and, you know, when I had the little split, I find my wallet for the 14th time. She looks at me, confused. What's wrong now? There's irritation in the last word, now. What's wrong now? Like abandoned ice cream sitting on a seafoam sidewalk, the irritation melts into me. What's wrong now? My heart pumps the words up to my brain, propelled through my throat, and it just comes out, I'm gonna kill myself someday. She looks at me, and I know that our friendship will not survive this trip. I don't mean that, not anytime soon. Are you serious, Valerie? The damage is done. There are just some things you cannot say to other people. In approximately 72 hours, our friendship completely disintegrates because I am deemed too unstable for a day trip to the beach. On the plane ride home, I try to write out my feelings, but now there's this barrier of shame. So I watch as my hand draws round shapes that eventually turn into colorful eyeballs. What's wrong now? Do I want to kill myself? I don't think so, but why else would I think about it this much? It's not like a normal intrusive thought, like crashing my car or barking in public. So that might mean it's a real thought. What's wrong now? I think I should count to 4 700 times, or at least until I want to stop wanting to scream. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Excuse me, did you draw those right now? The flight attendant has really white teeth and a large engagement ring, and I smile and nod like a normal person. She shakes her head, amazed that a circle could become an eyeball so easily. You are so creative. I wish I could think like you. Linda. Besides counting, checking my purse, and disassociation-induced doodling, I like to review the social rules that I have learned. If I'm hungry, I make a sandwich. If I'm tired, I take a nap. If someone asks me how I'm doing, I say one of 3 things. Doing good. How are you? It's okay. How are you? I'm surviving. How are you? Any deviation from this script may result in a tear-stained boarding pass in the San Jose airport. I have not quite learned the rule for when someone says, "Have you tried therapy? Is there some kind of medication you should be on?" For the record, yes. 15 years of the stuff, over half my life. Currently, I'm using a balancing act of weekly talk therapy, 50 milligrams of Zoloft, and a daily mental breakdown that involves some level of nudity. What's wrong now? As a society, we used to say, go to hell, but now we say, go to therapy. It's a catch-all for all the shit you can't catch. I've used it myself, to be fair, when I don't know what else to say. What's wrong now? Do you think that the seals on the boardwalk get depressed? Is it like a Jesus Christ situation where one seal takes on all the burdens of all the other seals? What does the Jesus seal do with all the sad thoughts? Does he look at the Golden Gate Bridge and wonder what's on the other side? What's wrong now? I went to San Francisco once. I stood in the cold sand and listened to crashing waves and thought about all the good things in my life. I did everything I was supposed to do and still had to check my purse 3 times for a wallet that never left. Thank you.
Wow. Everybody, please unmute yourselves. Give it up for Valerie Sharp.
Good
That
work, Valerie.
was
Wow.
Hey, Valerie. Thank you.
how introspective and kind of and daring
Welcome
to
to the
just kind of
fam,
go
Valerie.
within like that. Thank you for sharing, because I feel like I felt like there were parts of what you just said there that I was able to connect, because I've been struggling with therapy and whatnot. So to be hearing what you said there rings true. It hits, and I feel this is something that should be heard in more places. So thank you for bringing that art to this platform, and please do not be a stranger. Come back here every Friday, same bad time, same bad channel. You know the drill.
Thank you.
I
I
hope.
feel very welcomed. Thank you.
One more time, please, everybody give up for Valerie. All right.
Valerie, welcome.
Yeah, Valerie.
Thank you.
Stepping up to the plate now, we got Nemo Soom. When you're ready, please take it away. Unmute. Do your thing.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here. June 6th, 2020, I had a psychotic break, and I was taken away from my home in restraints in the back of an ambulance. In the hospital, I was served with a restraining order that said I couldn't go home, and that was the end of a 20-year marriage. So the last 4 years has been crawling out of a crater. So I'd like to read, the first poem is a poem I wrote a couple years after that, about turning around and rising from that. And then I'd like to read a poem I wrote just recently about turning into the wind. So this first one is called, they used to call them asylums. I found solace in a shower they couldn't take away. The feel of the scrubs against my damp body, pacing in my room, the chair sitting in the corner, waiting patiently to see if I would try to put it through the unbreakable window. Alone in a hallway of isolated men, I lay on my pallet alone in the dark. The light flashing on my face every 30 minutes in time with the broken clock in my head. I felt the presence that night, sitting behind me on the bed, and wondered who it was, come to witness my burning dreams of martyrs and the misunderstood. Released into the wild without shoes, in clothes found in a hospital closet, I drove around a city where I no longer belonged. Feet in socks pushing pedals, looking for a place to sleep, a place to eat, a place to start over. The screeches of my mind harpies made me unwelcome, and the threat of my broken sanity kept me away. So I fought on new ground, with new faces and new words. What does it take to survive the ordeal? Separated, but never alone. Mortally wounded, but alive. Hopeless, but still pushing back. A paper warrior in the wind. Torn and stitched, broken and mended, cracks filled. The garbage phoenix rises to spread its wings again. Behold. And this piece is based on the title of one of my favorite songs by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, Let the Bells Ring. Mr. Grief left his card for next time. Now that the path is clear and the pain ain't so bad anymore. The smell of lightning rises from the ashes now that the house has burned to the ground. The peals of thunder are barely audible as the storm crawls away. So let the bells ring. Blows landed, did their damage, but the pounding's done. Black eyes and broken hearts, there's still rage in this ragged man. Holding on to ropes to stay standing, but I was never strong. This fighter doesn't get to fall. So let the bell ring. Feeling damned made death's dance seductive, until putting my shoulder down pushed the dark back enough to get the words out. But demon songs still echo in my ears no matter how much I heal, so let hell ring. I've had my bell rung, been stung, flung. I've fallen, but I never had wings. Always too far from heaven to be heard, but still spitting scripture like some devil's son. So let the muse sing. May these verses resonate. May they give you fuel to fight. Maybe we can spend what we have left feeling less alone, healing hearts, grabbing hands, listening. I'm listening. I'm still listening. So let the bells ring. Thank you.
Everybody, please unmute yourselves and give it up for Nemo. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Nemo.
incredibly powerful, Nemo.
Wow, Nemo.
I'm tearing up.
Inspirational. Thank you.
Thank you. It's
I
a
always
beautiful space that we've created tonight. Thank you.
we appreciate you anytime you come by and share your art, and it's like eternally appreciated. So we love you here. Remember that. Everybody, one more time, give it up for Nemo.
Woo!
Let the
Nemo.
bell ring. Let the bell ring.
Okay,
Thank
we
you.
got, from the looks of it, 2 more readers on the round 1 list here. Stepping up to the plate now, please give it up for Chanson.
Good evening. It's been a while since I've been on here, so I'm happy to tune back in. I have 6 haiku that I want to read. I'm currently over 4,400. I'm trying to get to 11,000. It's taking me 3.5 years to get to 4,400. So please bear with me. I'm going to read each of them twice so you can get the full message of it. It's some good eye candy material that I have written today. But here it is. Okay. An animal print prowls to take my breath away by throwing the switch. An animal print prowls to take my breath away by throwing the switch. Unattainable, always falling short somehow, playing hard to get. Unattainable, always falling short somehow, playing hard to get. Let me hold your waist as we do staring contests with juicy kisses. Let me hold your waist as we do staring contests with juicy kisses. Pink lemonade dress covers your curves perfectly. May I get a sip? Pink lemonade dress covers your curves perfectly. May I get a sip? Banana milkshake, thick to the touch, delicious. Just shake it for me. Banana milkshake, thick to the touch, delicious. Just shake it for me. And the last one, to silver highlights, diamonds in the sands of time falling on my skin. To silver highlights, diamonds in the sands of time falling on my skin. Thank you.
Yeah,
Everybody
Chanson.
unmute and give it up for Chanson.
Chanson, yeah.
Ooh,
Nice
yeah, that
work.
was good.
Haiku
Thank you so much.
master.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for coming by.
Thanks for
All
having me.
right. All right, so it looks like we're down to our last poet here on the open mic list before we end the recording and take it to rounds 2 and beyond. Stepping up to the plate now, please give it up for Frog Corpse. Take it away.
Labyrintine grim, move behind the horns of accretion grin, where Bower unites the gilded, presided by Euronymous feasting on the skin. My closet crawler, a Fleet Street barber, riddled paralytic with unspoken shifts, as it would be easier to be remiss, shoveling dirt over shoulder, pouring from the Sisyphus boulder, bearing the me within. Old thoughts race in circles. Should I summon them, vying for Persephone's touch, so I could sleep eternally silent? Haranguing views of bovine hooves, trample the days unrelenting. Taurine lines pace with stride, no exit with postulation. My demons devise the hell I prize, assembling the jed of stirred creations. Confounding distance with apis vision, goring memories tunneled with killings. Thank you.
Everybody unmute, please give it up for Frog Corpse.
Amazing.
Wow, yes.
Cool. Woohoo, yeah.
Frog.
Frog.
Is that the only one you're reading? I love your shit.
If you could do one
Well,
more for us, that'd be pretty dope, but
This is the one I'm working on right now.
oh, okay.
You have years to go, as I have lived days before, exploring the limits of youth, prospecting the bitterness of old. You will devise new concepts, mining from forward thoughts in the pit of the stomach which held the flowstones behind moments worth passing on, denying what warrants penchant by the guft of erroneous whims. The response which measures a choice exchange is relayed by the response of actions missing. Clinging to the demerge of the Faustian echo, with the pact made for relief, and the endless reeds that I conceive, I wish for them to smother me.
Give it up for Frog Corpse, everybody.
I never tire of your work. I could hear more and more and more.
Thank you very much.
All right. It is at this point that we're going to be stopping the recording for tonight's show, but stick around if you want to have some round 2 fun. I just posted the list for round 2, and it'll be updated as we go along. But for the viewers on YouTube and beyond, stay with us. Check us on YouTube. Same bad time, same bad channel in the Zoom room here. Until next time, keep writing, keep sharing your love, and good night.
Night. Thank you.